So, hey guys, welcome back to La Boveda podcast, where we deep dive into the art of horror, psychological, and often symbolic, deeply personal games. Today, we're entering a game that feels like a lucid dream. It's laced with memories and meaning. It has a lot of stuff that I like. It's Lumina, and I think Lumina is more than just a title. It's an emotional journey, and it's only crafted by one person. And we have it here with us tonight. So, Richard, welcome to La Bóveda podcast. He's
Hey, nice to meet you guys.
Richard's the developer behind Hamster Cafe. So, he's the mind building this beautiful haunting world. Let's peel back the veil and uncover what lies beneath. Welcome again, Richard. So, I think this was one of the games that I really want to get on the podcast. Um, I really was like very, very paying attention closely when it initially was announced. So we saw a bunch of stuff like pictures around. You know how the internet behaves. So there's a bunch of stuff like there's a bunch of sound, and I saw it, and there was a couple of other titles too that were in there that had us like waiting for it. So when I started streaming Lumina Veil for the first time, um, September came in, and she found a stream because Kevin. By the way, thank you, Kevin. Kevin is, I think he's the one responsible of this ball that I found you guys and we were able to do all this. So it's what I could say is I feel like Lumina Valley is like a love letter to the games that I love, and for that, thank you, Richard.
Welcome.
So, man, let's start with the beginning. Who is Hamster Cafe, and what inspired you to become a solo game developer?
Right. So Hamster Cafe is a solo game dev studio. So it's just me. I'm Richard. I'm behind Hamster Cafe. It's a hobby studio. So I'm not making any money with it. I'm purely developing this game because I love horror games. I love making games. I love software development. That's why I'm making this. And yeah, my inspiration why I even started being a game dev was way back in the day when I played the first Unreal game or Unreal Tournament. I saw this funny thing named Unreal Editor right in the game files, and I launched it, and I saw, hey, that's an editor, but it's not like a Trackmania type blocky editor. It's an editor where you open it and you have no idea what you're gonna do. And I started working with it and realized, hey, that's the thing that you can build the whole game with it. And then I had my teeth in. Then Unreal Tournament 2004 came around. I started making maps. I started making custom game modes. And it just went on from there. So and I always was modding games. And especially with Unreal Engine, because that's what I grew up basically.
Yeah.
And yeah, many years passed, and then I started making my full own game. Yeah.
Unreal Tournament. You just took me back to the old good days.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
your studio name is super unique. When I first saw it, I didn't expect a survival horror game or anything to come out. Is there any story or vibe behind Hamster Cafe that reflects your work? Maybe.
Well, the simple thing is, maybe you can see it on my T-shirt. I like hamsters. I have pet hamsters, and they're just super adorable animals. And they, what I like about hamsters is like they are fully solitary animals. They want to be left alone. They only want to care about their own things. It's better to watch them and not too much interact with them, and I kind of get it. It's so relatable to me.
Yeah.
And then I thought, well, what's cozy? Hamster Cafe. Just call it Hamster Cafe. It was really not too much thought about it, and I just rolled with it. Yeah, and a friend of mine actually drew a cute hamster that I can use as a logo. So that's why it's Hamster Cafe.
I can relate so much for the way that you put the name, because there's been a lot of speculation why La Bóveda is called La Bóveda, and somebody's like, does he have like a meaning? And I'm like, well, yeah. When I started like putting games into a box, when I started collecting,
Yeah.
that was my vault, and then the whole room was the vault, and then the whole basement was the vault. So yeah, the vault, and it was like, oh, that's it. It was like, yeah, what were you expecting? It's something that you just I just came up with.
Yeah,
So
why not?
yeah, why
It's
not?
that
Why
easy
not?
sometimes.
Spontaneous. I think the most wonderful and beautiful things are created spontaneously. Like there are ideas that just came to be, and you take them and you polish them and you create diamonds with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's talk about Lumina Veil. So where did the idea for Lumina Veil came from? Was it long time vision or something that maybe have evolved with time? Or
Uh, I would say more an involvement thing. So really the moment when I thought, hey, let's do a horror game started when I did a replay of Silent Hill 3.
oof,
That's basically my favorite Silent Hill. And this time I played it emulated with high resolution and super
oh
fancy,
yeah,
so really beautiful. And I always liked Heather the most. She's my favorite Silent Hill protagonist. Maybe just because Silent Hill 3 was actually the first I played.
yeah, I know.
uh,
Silent
so,
Hill 2
and the
is
first
beautiful.
one, the first Silent Hill you play, it sticks with you. And then I was like messing around in the editor, having a character model, and I wanted always this cool, tough main protagonist. And like the inspiration was Hedda, but over time it morphed into its own character. And this streaming thing, I can't really put a moment when it happened, but it was like I want Silent Hill, but modern with modern controls, but also feel retro. And so, what could be things that like retro Silent Hill doesn't have that we have today, and that was like internet and streaming and things like that. So I slowly developed this idea. Yeah, you have a smartphone. You can be a streamer. Why not stream a game? Something like that. Played around in the editor, figured out how I can jump between characters, switch perspectives and such. And from there it evolved. And then it was basically pen to the paper, figure out a story that could be interesting. It was during the COVID lockdowns, so obviously, if you play Lumina Veil, you see
Yep.
some tangents about that. But I didn't want to be like political or anything in that. I just wanted to have like my feelings, my impressions I had from the time, like this isolation, the way you think about the world and such, and just have a bit of a extreme spin on it. That's why I came up with a fictional disease that can't really exist in the real world, and kind of have fun with it. And that's how Lumina Veil as a game manifested.
I think the emotional tone of the game, it feels gentle, but at the same time it's heavy. Like all the you can feel now that you mentioned that it was during COVID time. I felt that during the game, and I was just talking with September a couple days ago, and we went on that, and it feels so special. Like there's this scene that I loved. I think it's chapter 3. It just came out, right? Um, you're walking in the street and you can't see people's faces,
Yeah,
and it's so relatable, at least from my point of view, because I think that people are so in their phones right now, and their
yeah,
life depends so much of social media and the likes and the comments, and they don't see people anymore. Like you don't. When was the last time that you talked to somebody? And I have these random conversations with my community on Discord. And the other night we were talking. There were like maybe 4 of us. It was like 1:30 a.m. in the morning, and I was like, "Which one of you went to the store today?" And one of them is like, "Oh, I went to Walmart today." It's like, "Okay, so do you remember the face of the person that um put the groceries to the scanner and stuff?" And he goes like, "No." And I'm like, "Okay, do you remember? I don't know. Did something happen?" I was like, "Well, I was always looking at the list on my phone because I had a list of groceries in the phone. So it's in and out. There's no interaction. And these things in games, it's what makes hallmarks. They stay with you because and this is guys, if you're watching, this is exactly what I've been telling them a lot because I've been testing a lot of games. I receive keys and there's games I don't like saying that they're bad because I respect the craft a lot and I know it takes a lot. But there's some of these games that when you play them, there's no substance. There's like either a jump scare for just a jump scare. There's no story behind it. The character development starts with a story and then completely deviates, and it's another thing. I didn't. I with Lumina Veil everything and Richard. I'm telling you this like super. Being super honest. It's like perfect, man. Like I started character development, then went into chapter 2, and I wanted more, and I wanted more, and I wanted more, and here we are waiting for Richard come back from work and to continue work on this stuff. It's great, man.
That's an honor to hear. Thanks. Yeah, like the face thing. People are theorizing. Well, is it because of this corruption disease that you can't see faces, or is it? And no, it's actually. It's going to be more important later, but there's actually a hint about what it exactly is in the game right now. I can spoil it, it's not too big. You have the smartphone chat, and you talk to your sister in the first chapter, and your sister says, like, have you been able to look people in the eyes again? And you say, no, but I'm working on it. So, like, our hero has a problem looking people in the eyes. And that's how I put it in the game, how I visualize it with the
It's
blurred faces.
so good, man. Did any films, books, or I don't know, maybe music or personal experiences directly influence the story or your atmosphere? Like where you get like all this environment stuff?
Funny thing, that's only from a trailer, but I think it's a Turkish film or something. It's called Hothead, and
Yeah.
the idea in this movie is there's a disease that can be transmitted with the human voice. So if you hear someone talking, you go crazy. And so people have to wear this muffler headphones, and that's kind of the story. I've read this. It's a show or a movie or something. It's actually not that great what I've read, but I like the concept and the
The
trailer,
premise, yeah.
and from there I built my own spin on this. Yeah. So like this corruption disease is a little bit influenced by this. Yeah.
There's a contrast between we haven't seen the protagonist's face, and this is something that I was talking with September too. We haven't seen the protagonist. We see Lunatic Creeps when she's playing with it. We can hear
Yeah.
her. We can know what's happening, but we can't see her. And I ask, this is a very, I don't know why, when I'm building the block of questions, I asked September, do you identify yourself with the protagonist? And she goes like, we haven't seen it. And then I'm like, my head exploded. I'm like, you're right. I based this question out of how Lunatic Creeps, like the character when you're playing, looks. And she's like, yeah, she looks badass, doesn't she? And I'm like, yeah, but we don't know how the protagonist is. So is there anything behind that switch? Like, are you? What I mean is like, is there any like duality thing between being badass in the game and maybe having this, hiding behind the computer type of topic that you're trying to play with there?
Yeah, definitely. So there is this thing that when you're playing chapter 3, you know that you want to save the character in the game. Yeah, that's like and Lunari or Kaori, that's her name. She's a bit confused why she's so attached to this virtual character, but she really cares about her. She wants to save our girl, as she says in the game. And yes, she managed to build a connection with a character that she can only interact in via game, not in real life. And she's very confident with talking to her fans and talking to characters that are not present. But as soon as she goes into the streets, she can't look people in the eyes. And there will be a reveal how what she'll look like.
Okay.
So I can tease so much. And I think you're gonna like it because I've prepared something special for it. So, but you gotta wait for chapter 4.
Oh, that's
uh,
great.
but yeah, she is a physical character,
Okay.
and we're going to see her. Yeah,
Let's go back a little bit for just a peek to the solo dev topic. So being one person team is a huge challenge, and I've interviewed some solo devs in the past, and there's always something special. What was the hardest part of building Lumina Veil entirely on your own?
the singles. Well,
Everything.
I getting a second opinion or so. Like I have to make all these hard decisions on my own. I'm mainly focusing on software development, so obviously I use a lot of pre-made assets, but all the code is from me. And like there are big decisions you have to make when you start writing the code, when you start building the things. And I don't have anyone in like I can talk to. What do you think? Is this good to write it this way or that way? And basically the feedback only comes after I build it. So there is always this risk to have like problems in the foundation. And I want to avoid that as much as I can, and I used as much experience and careful planning. But at the end, you're kind of alone with your decisions, like fundamental decisions. I think that's the hardest thing.
I think I love what you're doing with the play testing and finding out once if there's something, anything that you would like, and continue that polishing. And one of my guys asked me, what's the reason behind this? Because I've seen a lot of people play testing and then they go back and change it and go back and change it. And I'm like, well, solo devs, bro. They're making all this by themselves. They don't have a team of playtesters. They don't have somebody finding bugs in the game. When they think it's good, they release it to a certain amount of people they trust and playtest it, and then they gather that data. And then I blew his cap too. Chris was like, oh damn, and I'm like, yeah. Just imagine you're like these big companies. They have departments, bro. These people are making this on their own, and then. One of my main dudes, Chris, he's like, oh God, man, I love that game so much. When something new is gonna come out, and I'm like, man, I don't know. I'm like you right now. I'm waiting. So now we know we're getting chapter 4. I'm happy. Is there anything, Richard, that you have to teach yourself, like any skills just to complete this project, like art, audio, writing, or something?
Yeah, everything.
So good.
I have an how do you say an education in software development, C#, and Unreal Engine is built on C++. So I use that and a lot of blueprints and new Unreal Engine version with lots of new bells and whistles. Okay, I gotta bite into that and whirl my way through it. Like how do I make an inventory and select an item? I have no idea. Like, okay, figured it out, like little steps. Each evening when I come home from work, take some little steps. And all these little steps eventually get you a big project. What I thankfully knew before and is some project management and how to structure everything to not get overwhelmed. And I initially decided to like get pre-made assets because I probably won't learn like modeling 3D humanoid characters from scratch just for this game. I would never finish it. So I obviously bought some assets, got some assets. But like finding my ways around the engine, doing animations, that's a new thing. I've learned how to animate characters by hand and such. So there's like this huge skill set. Obviously, some things from my professional work as a technical director for a media company comes in handy. I know my way around from audio work and video work, putting out little trailers and such. I can do that easily, but yeah, that's such a broad skill set, and you can't be good at everything. It's sometimes you have to make the cut and say, okay, I'm gonna get some help there, get some assets and such. Yeah, and if I can touch back to the testing. One thing I wanted to say is like as a developer, I'm the worst person to test my game. There is such an immense dissonance between the one who has created the thing and the one who is interacting with it the first time. It's like, for me, it's like obvious. Yeah, you have to go left there because I built this world.
You know where
have to go left there. And like if you drop someone in there, they just anywhere, and you're why are you running there? No, there's no direction. So how should I know? And then like obviously you have to interact with this thing and press this button. And so where does it tell me? And then okay, maybe I should add button prompts and, and things like it's really, I'm sometimes ripping my hair out watching other people play my game and like this is so obvious. And so yeah, for me, because I built that game.
I can relate because I have a kid, 13 years old, and we have the blessing. People think it's not a blessing. For me, it is. We're both autistic, and we share gaming. So that's why I think I've clinked into gaming so bad. Like it's like this is our life. This is what we do every day. So he's into game development, and he's an autodidact. He's just teaching himself stuff. And I can tell you, one of the parts that we're starting to just like look at it like with mean muck doing that face is every time we have to rig the characters for movement.
Yeah.
That's so we both suck so bad. I think he's getting better at it because he has the time. I come back from work, but during summertime and stuff, and he's about to start playing, getting more into it. And we're trying to get some money to pay him to go and learn some stuff about coding and programming and stuff. He'll get there, but I can. We have just touch the tip of the iceberg, man. Like you guys go in full create games, so much respect, a lot. And one of the things that I always ask, it's how did you stay emotionally grounded while working in such deeply like these games are introspective. Like you're trying to find this super heavy topics, creating stuff, but at the same time you need to make sure that the environment is okay, that the soundscape is fitting, the movement makes sense, and then your mechanics and what you're doing in the game, they need to have some cohesion with the story. Because if not, you lose the player. So that's a lot of pressure in once. How do you manage to stay emotionally grounded while doing all this?
You gotta have a solid plan. You gotta have everything laid out. Somehow it doesn't, you don't have to have a professional like planning software. I do everything in Google Docs and Sheets, but before I even started programming and doing anything serious, I wrote everything down. What would be the chapters? Okay, what do I want to happen? What do I need to achieve? Like, what are the key features I need to have? And then I started figuring out those features. So I really did a step-by-step approach and always had this gigantic Excel sheet before me, so I know that I won't get lost. And what also helps me extremely is like, okay, then you're working on it, and obviously ideas pop up. You do something, ideas pop up, and you gotta really differentiate what ideas will I actually put in the game, what are good ideas that actually are better than the idea I had before, so I changed that, and what ideas are going to the, well, maybe do that in the second game pile.
Yeah.
So that's like you have to have a clear vision and an achievable goal and achievable end. So Lumina Vale is 4 chapters. Before I even started with chapter 1, I already knew how all the chapters would look like in general. Like, you don't have to have every single step, but like a general idea. And then it's much easier to work on it and to keep working on it, because I'm gonna reach that goal at some point. It's not going to bloat and go over. Keep it simple. There's this principle. It's called KISS, keep it simple, stupid. And that's what I'm following with this game. Obviously, not always working. Some things tend to load and go over, and then people are going to request features, and then I want this, I want this, I want this. And then there are like really things like where I say, okay, no, I fix it as good as I can. I make it nice, but that's just how this game is now.
Yeah.
As long as it's not nothing game breaking or really bad, it's gonna stay that way.
And
But there are also a lot of features that I can tweak. Yeah.
your game is pretty, like the mechanics and the aesthetics and how it feels like it's paying homage to the classics. So I feel like it's good. It's more than good. Like we were talking the other night too, and one of the guys started like playing it, and he says it's incredible how you can play a new game in 2025, and it looks like the graphics, they're updated. It looks updated. The mechanics somehow feel familiar. It's like you're holding that controller where you were playing Silent Hill for the first time and you're sitting, but it looks better. And it's like it's even, we had the Silent Hill 2 remake, and he says like when you grabbed the controller, you felt like you were still in there. They managed to, like, it was just you just stop and play again, and now all of a sudden everything looks different. But the feeling is there. That's the same feeling that we get when we're playing Lumina Veil. So props for that. And this is like for my next question is like, are you a fan of survival horror and psychological horror? How do you feel these games maybe influence your approach to making the game? Like, are you carrying these games like since you were like a kid, or did you just play randomly Silent Hill 3 that day and oh, this is so good, I'm gonna play a game? And this is a question that it may be silly, but the guys, like, there's a lot of people that actually like when I make this question, because we have found out that great games, like really good games that we have played, the person behind it just played one, fell in love with the genre, and then they went back and studied everything. Mad respect for that too. So what's your story with this?
So my general, like I said, Unreal Tournament are like fast action shooters. Doom, like the new Doom, Dark Ages, absolutely my jam. That I would say my all time favorite genre is fast first person shooters. That's
Yeah,
where I'm
Doom.
home. Yeah, that's the thing. But I always like my second favorite genre was always something like horror. Resident Evil, Silent Hill, you name it. Many games in that genre, and it is true. I did a bit of a backwards history with them. So I started with Silent Hill 3. Then okay, well, there are more Silent Hill games. One looks too old. Let's
Yeah.
play two. And completely, like, I wasn't like I didn't have a PlayStation 2. I was all computer, so I did it with emulation and such. And then obviously with working in Unreal Engine, I played around with doing action stuff and like like Unreal stuff, and it was cool. But this doesn't really allow you to tell like this crazy story. Like I feel it's very easy to tell stories with horror games because they are just much slower and you can take much more time, and people are also much more used to read a wall of text in a horror game. Nobody would stand still in an Unreal game and read a wall of text, and as an indie game developer I have to write text because I can't voice everything, would be too much work. So that's how I kind of went the horror game route, and it's just so much fun scaring people and watching their streams.
You came from that vein that you touched there, Doom, and then I remember growing up as a kid, when I wasn't playing survival horror games, the Dark Souls genre was not in there, which later became another like huge one in my life. But before that, it was either I was playing Resident Evil, Silent Hill, or games that look like that, including Hunting Ground, Rule of Rose, or whatever.
Yeah.
And but I was playing Doom. I was playing Hexen, Turok.
Yeah,
I was playing like those type of games. Maze. There was so much like, and it's aesthetic too, because one of them was like a fighting game, but the aesthetic of this adventure, like kind of like medieval sort of thing, and then all the switch with Turok where it's mixing with high techy stuff with dinosaurs, and it was like these worlds that if you kind of like think about it now, they were just playing with what if. And that's the beauty about that era, the golden age of games, with how we call it. It's like, for example, Resident Evil is like, oh, we have these viruses and whatnot. What if this ever happened? And it's like Turok. There's like, we know the story in the natives, and dinosaurs were a thing. What if they, like it's, and that's the beauty of it. Because I've been pirate, I've been a Viking, I've been, through my life without actually, and this is all fantasy stuff, but it's still great to take your mind to those places. I think what kind of what are you trying? Let me see how I can figure out this question, because I'm like, what kind of emotional impact do you hope players walk away after finishing the game?
Well, obviously, I hope they are intrigued by the story and the world, and I want them to have a connection with my main characters, I have to say, because they're actually, well, it's the streamer and the in-game character. And yeah, I want people to actually like, how like really think about her feelings and what she's going to do now. But at the same time, I want it to be a bit like not too grounded. Like my story can go a little bit crazy. That's perfectly fine, I think. And yeah, it's just I want people to have fun thinking and theorizing about the story and have a fluid and nice feeling gameplay at the same time that doesn't hinder them experiencing that story.
Is there any specific mechanics or narrative choices that you are especially proud of in the game?
Well, what took me some time figuring out was how to do this streamer chat phone mumbo jumbo I have. Like,
Yeah.
okay, how do I do this without being abstracting, intrusive, or how? Like, and then, okay, I have this chat, but like having this chat running all the time on your screen would be distracting. Okay, like, okay, maybe have a super chat that only displays the really important messages in game so you can always see them. And then obviously the phone. It's such a great tool to let the player communicate with other characters without having to make a cutscene or whatever. It's just you get a phone message, you can read it, and it's so relatable.
Yeah.
And yeah, this thing is what I'm most proud of. Yeah.
It gives that duality to it's freaking great. It you have this what's happening outside, but then every time you go in, it stops right there. It's like you're pausing that and getting in, right? So you continue in the game, and I think it's in chapter 2 by the end where you arrive and there's this puzzle with numbers.
Yeah.
And I was lost. I was looking at the pieces of meat with the scissors, and I was running around because I'm a huge puzzle guy, and usually, I am known for like just getting everything fast because of all the games and all the experience, and I couldn't, and I was like going back and forth, and all of a sudden I'm like, the chat. I'm looking at the chat, and I'm like, okay, they're saying things in there. And then one of them mentioned the name of the corporation that means, and I'm like, there needs to be something with this. And then immediately after almost 40 minutes, it took me 40 minutes to realize the phone. Like I opened the phone, start going through the messages, found that connection, made the connection. I'm like, then I stopped. You can watch the stream one. I stopped and I said, guys, this is fucking genius. This is so good. This is so freaking good. And the guys were like, no, was that it? And I'm like, yes. Oh my God. And I'm like, it's so good, man. It's like that contrast gives that duality, as I was saying, because you have to separate like what's happening in the game. It's completely connected to what's happening outside, but at the same time, you have to concentrate on both things, separately. It's just great.
Yeah, both worlds exist at the same time.
Yeah.
Even in game, technically, they both are real and rendered at the same time. So,
by the way, that jump scare the first time when I just like the guy was just standing there and in the back, like I screamed my lungs out. I wasn't expecting that.
This thing, it hits hard when it does. It hits so hard. No, even when I first tested it, and like there's a bit of randomness in it. Like there are certain sections in the map where it can happen, so it's random. And one day I was testing it and completely like focusing on some feature, and then I tapped to the real world and completely forgot this thing. And I turned around and this creep was like, what? Yeah, sure. I put it here.
And you know what's great? That not the creature, because the creature, they're like the look is horrendous. It's supposed to be like that, but it's the other guy with the mask and the neon lights and all that stuff. Yeah. It's not creepy, but it scared the shit out of me because I wasn't expecting it to be there. Yeah, and I think that's brilliant because it's like you really got scared because that's a real life situation. Would you be playing all of a sudden like I'm here, and I'm like, you know what scares the crap out of me every time. I have a Chucky doll, right? I love Chucky, and the guys, every once in a while, one of the guys write in the chat, Chucky's moving. Chucky's moving. Man, I'm 38 years old, and I turn around and I'm like, stop, guys, I'm playing. And then I'm playing and I can't get my head out of the Chucky doll. So it's one of those things. I think it completely relates to what we're talking right now. Let's say that someone played the game once, and we already talked about the experience that you want, but is there any particular scene that when you see people streaming the game, you hope it sticks with them, that you look forward to it?
Um, it's gonna like have you finished chapter 3 by now?
I haven't, because I couldn't figure out the maze the first time, but we're gonna stream next week. I have it on schedule for Thursday.
Let's just say you're going to knock on your door, but it's not you. And I've watched some people already play it, and it's so much fun. They are glued to the screen when this happens, and they're like, "What's going to happen now? What's going to happen now?" And like, this is so weird. This is so weird, yeah. And it's like it gives back all the energy I spent making this game when I see this.
It's so rewarding, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So rewarding.
They're so invested. It's like when you have a streamer who talks a lot during the stream, and this thing happens, and they stop talking because they're like, "My God, that's so fun."
This next question goes out. This is a very this is a special question, because I respect the hell out of. There's a lot of indie devs and not indie devs. And not only indie devs, solo devs too out there creating great games right now. Like, I think there's a huge pool of games. Horror games right now are crowded. And there is a bunch out there that are not that good. And there's a very, very good amount that are just diamonds, and they're just waiting for people to discover them, right? And I'm one of the main things that we're doing this is because I want to display those games for people to actually, like, hear from you guys, all the things that you have to go through, but not only that they discovered this because these games are great. So within the larger context of emotional horror and indie narrative games today, how do you view Lumina Veil in that category? Do you think your game, like, you as a developer, you think like this game is a great thing? I've created something great, and I'm asking to you because it's very easy for me to ask the guys around, and it's very easy for them to respond because they're gonna be like completely honest because they're not involved in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you as a developer, how do you feel about what you have created?
It actually has its up and downs how I feel about my game. So when I get like a feedback dump, like a huge list, and with all things that are wrong with the game and don't work and suck, yeah, it's kind of disheartening. it can really be like, oh shit, I got so many problems in the game. And obviously I'm feeling a bit down, but on the other hand, well, maybe go to sleep and have a look at it tomorrow. And every time I did that, and there's always the thing I'm telling me, well, there's this huge list, but I'm going to dissect it. I'm going to read it and put really the content, pull the content out, and I really need. And when I got this list done, I end up with a better product.
Yeah.
And right now, I think I revamped the combat system about 3 times, and now it's like the opinion of the people are shifting from like, oh, combat's so clunky and bad, to more like, oh, combat's fine, it's okay, it doesn't suck, it's working. So I'm slowly pushing the needle more toward like having a more refined game. So yeah, with chapter 3 and with all the updates I did, I'm really gaining confidence that I'm actually making a good product. So yes, I'm confident that I'm making a great game. It is.
So man. Now that takes me to the next one. How do you feel how people have responded to the game? Because I feel like Lumina Veil is up there. Like when you're talking in this is what I've seen, and before coming up with this list together, I asked the guys, do you see this the same way? I communicate a lot with my community. You know, it's redundant the whole term, but where I'm always in Discord. They I consider them part of my family, so I talk with them all the time. And I threw names. I'm like Tormented Souls, right? And they're like, yeah. And then I started like Crowd Country, Signalis, and all these other games. Like I want to put Daymare in there. There's a lot of people that don't like it. I love the game. And then I started putting in like Lumina Veil, and they're like, oh yeah, it's there. And I'm like, right. And they're like, yeah, it's one of the things. So how do you feel about that support that the community has given back? Because I feel like people are super excited about it.
Yeah. So yeah, like you said, I've got to know new people. That's also amazing. I'm a bit of a lone warrior, if you may say, in this indie game dev community. I never really interacted with many people, and it only started rolling the ball when I started my Twitter account and
Yeah.
putting out the demo and so yeah, the obviously my dear voice actors I got to know, who are so supportive. It's so amazing, especially September. She's coming up with so many great ideas, and what's so cool, she really gets the character I want to make. So she right now is actually involved in the creative process with the main character, which is taking a huge load off my shoulders, and it's just a big help. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. I've got my fair share of like bad comments and stuff. Like it was so weird that there's like suddenly a YouTube video popped up from a channel, and they kind of took my trailer. It was from back in the day, Chapter One, early version, and they kind of promoted this like this new big Unreal Engine 5 Silent Hill killer game, and I never said that I'm going to be a Silent Hill.
Wow.
Yeah, like never said it, but I guess they wanted to have a big headline or something. Obviously, people clicked it and thought they will get this new big game, and then they got a solo dev game, and they started ripping it apart. Like it was, guys, that's completely the wrong impression you got here. That's like not there's one guy behind this game, but you can't really argue with that. I didn't even write a comment. I completely ignored it, but obviously it stayed in my head. Like some of those comments are like always rotating in my head, and you get 10 good comments and one mean comment, and obviously you're going to focus on the mean comment. That's just how it goes.
I can relate so much. When I started doing this, I got comments like, "Who is this guy? Well, why does he knows it all? And why is he doing it? Who he is? Blah 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 blah." And then it's like you said, you can have, in all the videos all together, you're gonna have, I don't know, 1,000 comments, and people are like, "Oh, this is great interview, or great review, great video." If it's a short, or they come to your stream, and then you have that one comment, right, that completely kills the vibe of the moment, or does that. But I can tell you, Richard, like based on experience, there's always gonna be people like that, and
yeah, absolutely.
And we definitely cannot make everybody happy, but at least I know for sure that I consider myself a core. Like I grew up, I watched this genre being created. I played the flavor Resident Evil when it came out, and I had the privilege of, in my house, like the older siblings, they played Sweet Home in the Famicom. So I've seen how this has developed, and I follow the history of this genre like you have no idea. Like I consider this part of my life, and I can tell you that this game lives up to that. So it's good. One another thing that pops out is like there are people, like you said, out there creating content just for titles, or just to get clicks or likes or comments and create reactions, because unfortunately clicks and reactions are money for some people, and it's gonna happen. So it's just one of those things. I think if you feel like you just said about your game, you have won already. It's one of the things that when you create stuff, like I create content, and I look at the stuff, and so I can laugh, like I can make myself laugh at the end or have a good time watching it. I think like I've done it already. I don't care what anybody else thinks. This is it. I think we're getting here to that last stretch, like we call it, and we're gonna be with a quick fire, but with the questions that are never quick fire because nobody answers them quick. It's what's your favorite survival horror game?
Silent Hill 3.
Yes, you just mentioned it. I was just I'm trying to get something else out, but Silent Hill 3. That's I think the story of Heather is great. It's
Yeah.
great. Do you how do you felt about all the hidden messages in that game? It was so like that ending and that church scene and oh my god. I felt that haunting ground vibes at the end when they tell her like you were supposed to give new life to stuff and then it went from being here to just through the roof and exploded with weirdness. It's
Yeah.
so good.
It's funny because survival horror games always have this weird cozy vibe to them. Like, okay, I played the game, I did all the things. Obviously, they have like this uh, quick sections where you have to react fast and whatnot and then get really scared. But then when you're thinking about the lore and looking at the images and maybe listening to a YouTube video about the lore or something like that, it's so cozy, like super disturbing and horrifying content, but at the same time, like, oh, let's grab my hot chocolate and listen to some gruesome horror lore.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of nice because it's all fictional, obviously. Yeah. So yeah.
Digital or physical games?
Honestly, digital games.
Oh, that's the first one. That's great.
That's yeah. Because I live with my wife in a nice, cozy apartment, and it's chock full of anime figurines.
That's good.
Because my wife's a cosplayer and I'm doing the photography. That's how we met. And yeah, we are huge anime nerds. And like, well, if I have a ton of figurines and anime stuff, better save some space and don't buy game copies.
What's your favorite anime?
Black Rock Shooter. It's my all-time favorite. Like the original animated series.
That's great. I think mine would be Neon Genesis Evangelion. I think
Absolute classic, yeah.
it's
But like Black Rock Shooter was where I tipped into this whole genre. Like I was watching Naruto and Pokemon, and it's like, yeah, okay, nice. But then like Black Rock Shooter, that's only in Japanese. Well, don't care. Let's try it. And like, wait, you can have a cute girl with a gigantic gun, and she's doing all this cool thing while electric guitars are playing. Like I was sold.
it's different. It hits you different. I
Yeah.
like it too. Do you have I think do you prefer to work during the day or during the night?
It's shifting more and more to doing the day. I'm 33 years old, and
Bro,
I'm
I can relate.
yeah.
I turned 38 and I was telling my wife the other day, it's like this stuff about going to bed, so and then waking up early, it's like I think I'm getting old. This is not a thing anymore. I used to be like a night owl. Doesn't work.
I made this solid rule with myself that I won't fire up the Unreal Editor after 10 p.m. at night. So if it's like 11, no, don't fire up the editor, because if I do, it's going to be 1 or 2 a.m.
It's gonna suck
And
you
no,
in. Yep.
I gotta get up for work tomorrow. That's not happening.
Richard,
So yeah.
favorite horror movie?
Oh, wow. Weird Cabin in the Woods, kind of. It's such an parade of horror stuff. Yeah, that's the first thing that comes to my mind.
Well, Richard,
But if I got a reflection, I think also the I think Wreck was it called, like
Wreck.
this found footage style zombie movie. Also, this is kind of in my mind all the time.
you have there's this Dead Set. I think it is. It's an old. I think it's like a 2000 kind of thing. It's called Dead Set. I think it's based on the UK. I can't remember right now. They're shooting like a show in a studio, and all of a sudden the zombie outbreak takes place, and you have like the survivors, like including the actors and the producers and everything, trying to escape the set, and then they're going to the city and all that. It's great. I don't
Gotta watch
know.
it.
I don't know why I just remember about that randomly.
Yeah, it's also the first thing that came to my mind. This is a Cabin in the Woods, because it was such, yeah, like it wasn't a like scary movie type of comedy, but it was just a parade of horror
Yeah,
tropes, and that
yeah,
was
it is. It's
so great.
one of those movies that is just that, and it's
Yeah,
great sometimes because sometimes it's like we're talking about how less is more. Sometimes you have to be like a huge elaborate thing, and you just go with horror and I don't know, like that cringiness. Like I love Army of Darkness. You familiar with it?
yeah,
It's just like there's like this is my boomstick, and there's a bunch of other things into it like that they didn't make sense, but they were great.
it's just fun. There's
It's
just
fun.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, simple
So
as that.
Richard, I would love to thank you for for your time. I think Hamster Cafe. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, thank you so much for sharing your journey, your process, and opening up to us here today. Lumina Veil is a shining example of what happens when one person dares to go deep, to feel and to build something honest. We also had, the honor of talking with September. She voices the character, the main protagonist in the game, and now it all feels connected for us. We have a huge understanding, and I believe that the audience too. So we hope your journey continues to grow, and we can't wait to see what you have to create next. To everyone listening, Lumina Veil is available now. Go play it. The link is going to be down in the description, and please support your indie devs who aren't afraid to make art from the soul. Now, Richard, anything you want to say to the audience? The microphone is yours.
Okay, yeah, obviously play Lumina Whale. It's the like completely. Like I said, my mind is open on the table. You can really experience what I wanted to create, always to create. And just download the demo on Steam. It's chapter 1 to 3 currently. Game is free. It's going to stay free. So just play it. And yeah, I'm already busy at work with chapter 4. So stay tuned.
I think, guys, thanks for watching. Go play Lumina Veil. Thanks, Richard. Until the next time, guys.